The committee will come to order. The hearing today is entitled "Who is in Your Wallet? Dodd-Frank's Impact on Families, Communities, and Small Businesses." I want to thank our witnesses for being here today, and particularly Mr. Purcell, who's from the 19th Congressional District. Thank you for being here this morning. There's a lot of different ways that the government can get in your pocket. I think most people think about taxes as the primary way to do that, because basically the government gets to determine how much of your hard-earned money you get to keep. But what I do think a lot of people underestimate is really what the cost of other ways that government does that through regulations, that basically there are costs to those. When we look at, I think one of the things that this Congress has been trying to focus on for a number of months now is jobs in this country. We still have a number of Americans that are out of work, and we are looking for ways to make sure that we help find ways to get those people back to work. For example, in my state of Texas, about 98% of the in Texas are small businesses. And I would tell you in the 19th Congressional District that's probably a higher number, because we just have a bunch of really hard-working small businesses people, that many multi-generational businesses that have worked hard to build those businesses up. We don't have a big Toyota plant in the 19th Congressional District, but these small businesses are a major job creator for us. And so what small businesses rely on is access to capital. And obviously our community banks have been the primary provider of that capital. When you look at the small business loans in this country, most of those loans are under $100,000. And so while that's not a small amount of money, for many banks that would be a relatively small loan. But to those businesses, it's a very important loan. And so we want to make sure that as we move forward, that we are not part of the problem of inhibiting the financial communities, particularly our community banks, from providing important lending opportunities, but also serving the customers. I was talking to someone the other day, and in many of the smaller communities across my district, with the consolidation that's happened in the agricultural business, there's a smaller number of farmers farming a lot more acres. And so a lot of those communities that were used to be a lot larger because there was more farm families are smaller now, and in many cases the small or the community bank is one of the last larger corporate citizens in those communities, and an important not only just provider of capital, for other financial services for those individuals. And so what I'm hoping to accomplish with this hearing today is, I think there's been a lot of focus on Wall Street, but what we really know is that Main Street is where ultimately all of the cost and burden of regulation tends to fall. That we don't think about the fact that we raise the cost of the asphalt in the parking lot at the supermarket if we begin to tinker with some of these markets, or that the cost of buying or financing a car, the cost of your groceries, the commodities, and the availability of certain banking services, where in many cases those used to be provided free, now are at a cost. And so there are costs to that. And so what I would hope to accomplish with this hearing today is to begin to identify some of those, because I think on both sides of the aisle, I think what we want to make sure is that if we're going to have regulation, we need to understand the consequences of that regulation, but also we've had a lot of discussion about the cost and the benefit. You can make a car really, really, really safe, but if it costs $100,000 to make a car really, really safe, then how many people can afford the car? So I look forward to our discussion and our panel. I think we've got a great panel today, and I want to thank you again for being here. And with that, I will now yield to the ranking member, Mr. Cobb.